The six most misunderstood zodiac signs. I'm Lamar Townsend. I'm a natural intuitive, clairvoyant, clairaudient, empathic, psychic tarot reader. Please contact me for your own personal private tarot reading at lamartownsendtarot.com, okay? If you have any questions, check out the FAQ section as well as the personal ethics section on my website, lamartownsendtarot.com, or you can email me at lamar.townsend@gmail.com, okay? Also, please subscribe, hit the bell next to the subscribe button, the notification button, so that you get a notification whenever I upload a new video. Also, please follow me on Instagram at Lamar Townsend and like me on Facebook, facebook.com/Lamar Townsend official, okay? Okay. Sorry, I was holding that in. Alright. So, Gemini, Cancer, Virgo, Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius. The most misunderstood zodiac signs in the zodiac, in my opinion. Um, let's get into it, alright? Gemini. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication, the mind, intellect. Geminis are also very dual sided, and this is why they are often very misunderstood. Geminis are symbolized by the twins, so, one twin has one personality, the other one often has a completely opposite personality from the other one, which causes Gemini to sometimes be a bit contradictory in their communication and behavior, and in their thought processes sometimes. And they're really good at making it make sense, though. You know what I'm saying? Um, but it takes a while for other signs, I think, to catch up to Gemini and their intellect because Geminis are so quick. Um, they're very curious. They're like the childlike zodiac of the zodiac sign, among many others. Okay, but Gemini is like the curious child, like the child that wants to know everything about everything. You know what I'm saying? The child that asks so many questions. Why, mommy? Why, daddy? Why? 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 That's a Gemini, right? Um, and people think Geminis, for example, sometimes do that to be annoying. Geminis just like to know everything. They're very kind of curious, right? But really, no, that's who they are. They are, very curious. They like to know everything, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes, for example, Gemini can be contradictory in their behavior. They'll like call someone else out for being like nosy or curious. And then that person will be like, but you're like, the same way. Like, and that kind of throws people off because it kind of makes people think, is that Gemini not self aware? Like, really, are they calling me out and calling the kettle black? Like, what's going on here? But no, Geminis are very aware of themselves. They're almost too aware of themselves. They just um, have a very active mind, a very active intellect, and they like to know a lot of things. And they also know a lot of things. And they're just hard for people to keep up with sometimes, which makes them very misunderstood. Cancer, sorry. Cancer is ruled by the moon. The moon rules the tides of the oceans. The moon is what kind of causes or influences the tides to go back and forth, and you know what I'm saying? Like that can sometimes be a very calming effect or a very kind of crazy rapid effect. And oftentimes, the rapidness or the calmness of the ocean, the waves kind of denotes the energy in the air and like something like to happen in the future or something like that. Like it's just really weird, you know what I'm saying, how that is, and that's kind of how a Cancer is. Like Cancers are very, they can be calm like an ocean wave, or they can be very rapid like an ocean wave. And you really never know what's in the ocean, you know what I'm saying, until you get in there. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes there's good things, sometimes there's bad things, like ugly fish, that look really scary when you get down there. Cancers really never know what they're going to get on a given basis in terms of their emotions, and no one really understands or knows what they're going to get in terms of a Cancer in terms of their emotions. Like, you know cancers are really like self-depreciating. So, a lot of times they are very jokey people, very funny people, but, other times, they may actually get in their feelings, and take things to heart. And it's like, but just last week you were, just yesterday you were, laughing it up about this joke, and now all of a sudden are in your feelings about it. Like, but and that kind of throws people off, so it kind of makes people sometimes not know, kind of like Gemini, what version of Cancer to expect. Should they walk on eggshells around Cancers? Because Cancers can be very sensitive people, right? So a lot of times you have to watch what you say, watch how you say it, around a Cancer. That really matters. Um, but also, Cancers are super duper intuitive and in touch with their emotions, more deeply, I think, than any other sign. Um, so a lot of times when those tides are rapid, when that moon is really active and kind of working on those emotions, because we have to remember water, at least in tarot, in astrology, a lot of times is associated with emotions, right? So that stirs up emotions. That stirs up, that gets, the bottle shaken, and all the dust at the bottom is all kind of shaken up and dispersed everywhere. All the dirt, the skeletons in the closet come out, and it's a lot for a Cancer to deal with, to, calm the chaos, to put it all back down, so that can make them very misunderstood. Cancers, balance, finding balance is really important for them. So, um, sometimes people just don't know how to deal with the Cancer, and that makes them misunderstood. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. We kind of talked about what Mercury was all about with Gemini. Um, Mercury is the planet of communication, the intellect, the mind. Virgo's an earth sign, whereas Gemini's an air sign. So Virgos are much more practical in their thinking, in their thought process, in their communication process than Gemini, who is more, intelligentalizes it, or like, like it's all in the mind. It's all like up here, you know what I'm saying? With Virgos, it's more using the hands, the feet, like, being practical, Um, but nonetheless, Virgos, because they are also very communicative with that Mercury energy, they also can be very shy, and closed off and reserved, and hard to get to know at first. Like, they can be very difficult to understand. Like, their actions, their behavior can express one thing, but their words can say another, or vice versa. Their words can say another, but their actions can say the words can say one thing, but their actions could say another. For example, say a Virgo really says, "Oh, I really, really, really like you," like, but their actions show, because they never answer your calls, they never answer your texts on time. At least they answer a day later, maybe. Um, they're really, like, stoic or like shy, timid around you, that they don't like you, right? Like, that's kind of like confusing. And it's Virgos are very kind of guarded people. A lot of the times they don't open up very easily. And so when the walls come down finally, and you get that kind of Mercury inside of Virgo, you see the youthful, very energetic, like smart, intelligent side of them. It's very exciting. You're like, oh wow, I love this side of Virgo. But then sometimes the wall goes back up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it just needs to, because Virgo just needs to kind of protect their energy, and that's difficult to deal with, because it's like, excuse me, where's that childlike person at? Where'd they go? Well, they're still there. They're just being protected. They're healing. They're resting. So, kind of understanding those two sides of Virgo, where it's like, they like to be amongst the people, but they also like to be alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know. And also, Virgos are seen as the perfectionist of the zodiac, but really, they're just very focused and detailed people. And really, their only competition is themselves. And I think uh, people misunderstand that too. With Virgos, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of higher learning, higher education, morality, religion. All right. Sagittarius are free spirits. Sagittariuses are people who go march to the beat of their own drum, especially in terms of philosophy, in terms of ideology, in terms of the way that they live their lives, the rules that they live their lives by, or the non-rules that they live their lives by. It's very they're very misunderstood in that way, especially if they come from a family. A lot of times, this is the case. They come from a family that has a certain set of views. Usually, it could be very strict, but they kind of morph into their own person with their own set of views. You know what I'm saying? Um, so a lot of times, Sagittarius can be seen as the black sheep, the free spirit, the free soul, the fearless soul. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that can make them very misunderstood. I think a lot of times people think that Sagittarius do all of it for seeking for attention, but really they're just kind of. Sometimes it is for attention. Sometimes it is kind of just them trying to find themselves and to free their souls, their spirit from any bondage, any kind of sense of being tied down to anything. You know what I'm saying? Any one thing. Sagittarius hate being tied down. You know what I'm saying? And that can make them very misunderstood too, because commitment is seen as such a um, admired trait. You know, Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is the planet of the past, karma, weight, debt, and illness. Capricorns are very ambitious, very focused people. And that alone makes them very misunderstood. Sometimes Capricorns are so focused that they forget everything and everyone else around them. Capricorns can be very kind of closed off and hard to get to know at first, very difficult to get to know. They can be very picky and choosy with who they kind of talk to and spend their time with. Um, they can be very complex and hard to stand. They can be very moody and emotional too. But because of their strong persona, because of their kind of detached and reserved, yet kind of sophisticated, I guess, way of going about life, way of interacting, way of being, way of forming relationships with other people, um, makes them seem stronger sometimes than they really are. Not to say that Capricorns aren't strong, Capricorns just aren't superhuman, right? And I think sometimes people see them as superhuman, which can make them is another reason that makes them misunderstood, because when people finally see that kind of emotional needy, all right, um, emotionally needy, um, side of Capricorn, it's like, whoa, I don't know what to do with this. Usually you're the one who's like, on my side of the table. Like, this is, you know what I'm saying? So it takes a while usually for that other person to get acclimated and kind of catch up. But that makes Capricorn frustrated. Like, that makes Capricorn annoyed. You know what I'm saying? And Capricorns can be really weird. They can be really kind of hot and cold. They can be they can talk to you for a week and then kind of not talk to you for a month. Like, Capricorns can be just very misunderstood in that way. They like their alone time. They like to they like their solitude. They like to be surrounded by people that make them feel comfortable, that comfort their soul. And not many people out there that do that for Capricorn. So the ones that do, they like to keep close. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. Uranus is the planet that rules astrology as well as technology and innovation, progression, moving forward, progressing society, right? Aquarius is also influenced or ruled by Saturn as well. We kind of talked about what Saturn is about with Capricorn. So Saturn is about weight, debt, illness, things of that nature, right? So Aquarius is a sign that is by nature very misunderstood. Aquarius is, because they're an air sign. Air signs tend to be the socialites, the communicators, the people that like to be out and about. They like to be out and about. They like to communicate. They like to talk. They like to kind of teach people new things and vice versa. They like to learn new things and take in knowledge, but they also have a side to them that is very a bit of a loner type, a bit of a person that likes to be alone, a person that likes to self-reflect and introspect, spend time in solitude, and definitely the person that marches to the beat of their own drum, regardless of what other people think, and that can often make Aquarius misunderstood because, Aquarius can be seen as not caring what people think, and people who tend to not care what people think are often misunderstood. But Aquarius truly does not care what you think, and that um, is, definitely a reason why they're misunderstood. Aquariuses tend to be very quirky and eccentric in some type of way. Um, it's the reason why people think they're weird, but it's also the reason why people absolutely love them and adore them and doesn't want them to change. And protects them, actually protects that part of them, or tries to at least. But Aquarius is always evolving, always moving forward, always innovating. So you can't keep an Aquarius down. All right. With that being said, these, in my opinion, are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 most misunderstood zodiac signs in the zodiac. Please contact me for your own personal reading at lamartownsendtarot.com or email me at lamar.townsend@gmail.com, okay? Subscribe, hit the bell so you get a notification whenever I upload a new video. And follow me on Instagram at Lamar Townsend. Like me on Facebook, facebook.com/Lamar Townsend. Say it with me, official. Alright. See ya in the next video. Or I'll see you for your personal reading. Birth chart reading or tarot reading. Alright? Adios, amigos and amigas.